Good evening and welcome to Live from the Imperial Center. I'm Brooke Edwards and I am the Artistic and Managing Director of the theater here at the Imperial Center. And tonight is the third installment of our third annual Local Playwrights Staged Reading Series. Yay! And tonight we will be reading two plays, one called Push Me by Stephen Moen, which will be first, and the second is Pillow Talk by Andrew Michael Neiman. And I would like to remind everyone that next week, Thursday, November 12th, thank you, will be our final installment in our Beckett Radio series as we perform Cascando. And then next Friday, we are back with our variety show Live from the Imperial Center. So if you would join us for those. As always, all of our content is available on our YouTube page, all 21 weeks of Live from the Imperial Center, all of the Local Playwrights Stage Reading Series, and all of our Beckett Radio plays are all up on our YouTube page. So we invite you to go there and watch them if you miss them live. And without any further ado, we will now read Push Me by Stephen Moen. And if you would please introduce yourselves.
My name is Anna Tamasia, and I'm reading for Jen the Waitress.
My name is Ben Griffith, and I'm reading Paul.
And I'm Sherelle Daniel, reading for Irene.
Push Me. Lights up on a small table where Paul sits in casual clothes and Irene in a nice dress that makes her look strong and beautiful. Both wear wedding rings. On the table there are 2 glasses of champagne and roses on Irene's side of the table.
Here we are. Another year gone and another anniversary arrived. I tried to get a regular booth, but the staff said it was too busy. This was the best they could do.
I don't mind.
I know you don't mind. Still bothers me. You know, there are fancier restaurants out there in the world.
But this is my favorite.
But this is your favorite. I know. We had our first date here.
Because I picked it.
You picked this place. And I remember saying it was going to be way out of my price range, but you said...
Not if you just get appetizers and wine.
So we came here. We got appetizers and wine.
I was right.
You were right, as usual. Our first kiss was right outside on the corner.
It was snowing.
I remember you saying every lake of snow is a little kiss from nature.
And then you kissed me.
I couldn't help but kiss you.
I didn't complain.
I proposed to you here.
I remember. You looked so nervous.
I was so nervous. You looked so beautiful. I mean, that was nothing new, but you had that dress on.
The red one.
The red one. All I could think was, how am I going to get this beautiful creature to say yes? She's way out of my league. And you know what? I have had multiple people agree with that thought. I remember telling my dorm mate Conrad that I was going to ask, and his first words were that Irene is way out of your league.
Conrad was an idiot.
Conrad was an idiot. But I couldn't help thinking he was right. The thought of you and how happy I'd be if you said yes, it pushed me through the fear. I just knew that I had to ask. Even if you said no, I had to ask.
I said yes.
You said yes.
Both look happy for a moment, and then sad. Enter the waitress, Jen.
Hey, Paul, can I get you anything else?
Just the check, please, Jen.
Absolutely. I'll be right back with that.
She exits.
Engaged right out of college. Our parents were so thrilled.
They warmed up to it.
I'll always hate how little we got to see each other after the engagement.
Work.
Felt like all we did was work. Me in the day, you at night in the hospital. It worried me. I was scared we'd grow apart without being together all the time. But you fixed that too.
The letters.
My favorite part of the day was coming home to your letters about the craziness of work. Well, besides seeing you, obviously.
Such a charmer.
I kept them. Did you know that? I still have them at home. Still, I'm glad we got on the same schedule after the wedding.
Oh, our beautiful wedding.
You know, I always wondered why you insisted on us getting married on Friday the 13th.
Because I wanted our day to be a special day.
A special day. That's what you've always said, but you know what I think? I think it was just a way for you to push me out of my comfort zone again. You always said my superstitions are...
Silly.
So I'd bet putting our marriage on Friday the 13th was just one more way you could push me.
Maybe.
Terrible lady. I remember you unscrewing the top of my salt shaker so salt would dump everywhere. I couldn't remember which shoulder I was supposed to throw the salt
I
over.
left.
It's the left, I know. But at the time, I couldn't remember. And you wouldn't let me look it up.
And you did both.
So I did both. And then there's Bucky, of all the animals in all of the world. You just had to have Bucky, the black cat. I swear, you somehow convinced him that crossing my path was his purpose in life. Every step I took, he'd dart out in front of me.
You loved him.
I loved that stupid cat.
Remember the ladder?
The ladder! Oh gosh, I'm so mad at you for making me paint under the ladder. Though I must admit that I had a hard time staying mad at you when I realized you'd gone to all of that trouble to tie the ladder to the house, to make sure I couldn't move it. I had to go under. All these silly superstitions you pushed me to get over. Every time, I knew something bad was bound to happen.
But nothing ever did.
Something did.
It wasn't your fault. You know that. Say it.
This is not his first time saying it.
It wasn't my fault.
The waitress Jen enters carrying the check.
Here you are, Paul. I'll be right back to pick that up from you. No rush.
She starts to exit.
No need, Jen. I've got cash. Keep the change.
Paul, this is more than double the bill. Are you sure?
Of course. Got to take care of our favorite server.
Don't leave yet, Paul. I've got something for you.
She exits.
Okay. What else? I talked to my brother today. Apparently he and Stacy are having another baby. I can't imagine having another kid with their twins only being a year old. They must be exhausted. Probably best we didn't have kids.
You know me.
I know. You would rather adopt an older child than have a baby, and I get that. And honestly, that would be best, so I don't have to change any diapers. And I get that we waited because I was traveling so much for work, and you were working on your own career. Too late now, I suppose. But we could have been great parents.
Paul.
She reaches across the table to put her hand on Paul's, pulling his hand away before she can touch it and grabbing his glass.
Oh well, no need to linger on things. It's our anniversary. Champagne, fancy-ish restaurant, flowers, all things you love. Happy anniversary.
There's a long beat. Paul takes a sip of his champagne. Irene does not join in the toast. She stares at him, clearly wanting to say something to help the situation. Enter the waitress Jen, carrying an envelope.
Here we are. I've been keeping it in my bag. She told me to. The next time you were in here, I almost didn't feel like it was my place.
What?
Irene. Irene came by before, and she told me to give you this the next time you came in. And you didn't come in last year, so I've just been keeping it in my bag. I didn't want to miss you if you came in. But now here you are. I've been debating whether to give it to you or not all night. It felt weird. It didn't feel like my place, but she asked.
She hands the envelope to Paul.
She gave this to you to give me?
Yes, a week or so before.
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
She starts to exit.
You know, it's a testament to how highly she thought of you that she gave it to you. She loved you, Jen.
I loved her too. Both of you. It always made my night to come in and see the two of you here. I miss her.
I miss her too.
Jen exits. Long beat of Paul holding the envelope. It's precious. Finally, with a sigh, he opens it. By now, Irene is over his shoulder, but not looking at the letter.
My dearest Paul, I knew you'd come back to our place when you were ready. I'm so proud of you. I know how much you used to love to read the letters I wrote to you. So I decided to write you this last one.
We found out today that I only have a few weeks left, at the most. I hated to see the way it broke you. To me, the news brought peace. This morning, I saw myself in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I wondered who that frail wisp of a girl was and where she had put the woman I usually saw in the mirror. I hope that girl is not how you remember me, my love. Instead of recalling me sick and weak from treatments, I hope you remember the strong, willful girl you met in college. Rather than the moments where I let grief overtake me, I hope you think back on the tricks I would play on you to show you your superstitions were silly. Instead of our despair, I hope you remember our love. I have loved you since our first kiss. I never told you because I didn't want you going and growing some big ego, but I ran through the dorm after our date proclaiming to my roommate that I had found the one. And let me tell you, I have never once doubted that I was right. You have always been my rock. You balance my high spirit with your peaceful nature and are the most caring man I have ever met. You always blamed me for us getting Bucky, but you seem to forget that you were the one who kept leading us to his kennel when we visited the shelter. We were told that he needed to be adopted within the next week or he would be put down, and you couldn't stay away from him. Honestly, I have never even liked cats, so it surely wasn't my idea. Sorry to burst that bubble of yours. You've always claimed that I pushed you out of your comfort zone, and I'd like to think that was something that you were happy about. So, I'm gonna push you one last time. Keep going. The fact that you received this letter shows that you're on your way. Keep doing things that make you happy. Find new things to make you happy. You have so much life left within you, and I don't want you to waste any of it. I'm in your heart, ready to experience your new, exciting adventures. I'm in your memory, ready to give you a smile or a snarky remark. Take me with you, but keep going. I've been thinking a lot about our first kiss. The last first kiss I ever needed. It was the first of many. Many times I told you that every snowflake was a kiss from nature. While I still stand by my statement, I want you to know that I've made a deal with Miss Mother Nature. And for you, those kisses will be from me now. I love you, Paul, with all my heart. Irene.
Paul takes a moment, rereading the letter and composing himself. As Irene sits again, Paul rises and starts to exit, leaving the flowers, but stops and looks back to her place at the table.
One last push. Thank you.
He exits. The end. And we're back, and now we will read Pillow Talk by Andrew Michael Neiman. I am Brooke Edwards, and I will be reading the role of Mel.
I'm Ben Griffith, and I'll be reading the role of Marty.
And our illustrious technical director will be making his acting debut as the narrator and reading the stage directions. Thank you, Will, Stacy.
Time, sometime between 2011 and 2015, about 8:15 p.m. Place, Melanie's bedroom, in a city or college town. Marty, in bed, mostly naked. Melanie in adjacent bathroom, semi-visible to the audience.
I'm just saying that there's this mechanism a person can turn on or off, or a mechanism that simply turns on of its own accord. A psychosexual flow of sorts. I call this mechanism eros. I mean, many people call it that. Ancient philosophers, late 19th, early 20th century psychoanalytic theorists, most recently behavioral psychologists. And there's this sexist position that suggests that a man has more control over this mechanism, that a man can disengage romantically, but still perform, and be turned fully on sexually, but that a woman cannot so readily. Or rather, that when a man does, he's considered normal. But if a woman shuts down this function and still performs sexually, she is labeled a slut, or a whore, or a sex pot, or what have you, a party girl, whatever.
Mel returns to the bedroom. She wears a kimono.
And you're saying that this sexist position has no basis in biology, that it's not inherent, it's conditioned?
I'm not necessarily saying that, no.
So what are you saying?
Well, for the time being, I'm just trying to establish the fact that there are two categories of sexual engagement.
Just two.
For the time being, for my purposes, to make a particular point. I want to establish two general categories of psychosexual engagement, one which I'd like to label erotic.
Not all sex is erotic.
Well, sure, in lay terms it is. I just don't want to use the word romantic because that suggests a whole bevy of literary/historical terms. And look, just humor me for a moment.
I feel like that's what I've been doing for the past 10 minutes. I have my limits.
I'm sorry I've been so long-winded. Let me try to simplify it. At one extreme, sex can be utilized as a tool to wield power over someone, and on the other extreme, sex can be the receptacle for any number of idealized romantic notions. In between these two polarities are,
Yes.
well, a host of possibilities, but I'm specifically interested in the difference between sex as the pursuit of pleasure, including the complex circuit of pleasure derived by giving pleasure to one's partner.
Okay, but doesn't the difference between demanding pleasure and providing pleasure merit its own discussion?
Of course it does. Of course it does. This is so frustrating. I want so much for you to understand me.
I want to understand.
Let me back up for a sec.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry, just let me try to convey my main point.
Hold on. I think I have it. You present these two sexual extremes of power/control on the one hand and romantic idealism on the other.
Right. But that was just a framing device for my main point, which...
Without even mentioning sexual reproduction.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that potentiality is always at play.
Is it? Always?
Sure, of course.
Reproduction is always at play.
Well, the urge, of course. The urge that carries the possibility. That is, behind the sexual urge is nature's agenda, which is fundamentally procreative. But I want to unpack that in a minute.
So even if we were the same gender, if we were a gay couple, you'd still pose it that?
Well, that would certainly complicate things.
Straight people connecting sexually necessarily involves some kind of underlying procreative urge, but in the case of two men or two women?
I'd really prefer to talk about same-sex relationships later. Very important issue, but later.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay?
I am. Don't test me.
Okay. There's a mechanism which we often label romantic, but which is better defined as erotic, or rather eros. And the basis of this mechanism is immediately established between mother and child in the course of nursing, and this serves as a model for intimacy, for all sorts of intimate connections for the rest of our lives.
Roger that.
Carl Jung observes that...
Oh, no, not Young again.
Yes, Jung again.
Why do you always have to bring Carl Jung into bed with us?
I don't always bring Carl Jung into bed.
You often do.
I occasionally bring him up post-coitus.
If you brought him up pre-coitus, you would certainly never get laid.
Noted. So there are those of us who always apply this early model of intimacy to our sexual connections. Those of us for whom sex is an expression of the most primal of all intimacies. Our connection to the breast, But there are some of us who are able to separate intimacy from the sexual act.
The sexual act? Wow. You definitely don't want to get laid again tonight.
Wait, where are you going?
Oh, I don't know. I figured that since we're in a sexual act break, I might take this opportunity to engage in the act of urinating or the act of hydrating. You really got to figure out a way to spice up the pillow talk, Marty. I mean, come on.
Mel, I was just trying to...
Or at least get to your points faster so that I'm not left having to listen to these interminable monologues. Sorry, that was a bit harsh.
I'm so in love with you.
And I love you.
I was wanting to say that in spite of there being many men, and admittedly many women, who are able to separate love and sex, I'm not sure I'm capable of doing so. Or if I am, I never want to be able to do that.
Oh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess I was wondering if...
Here it comes.
Is it bad that I'm asking you this?
It's not bad, it's
I'm
just...
feeling vulnerable.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm sorry.
No, it's very sweet. It's very cute. I like you when you're vulnerable. But this is going to sound harsher than I mean it to, but it's coming across as slightly pathetic, which...
Ouch.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
No, please, don't say sorry. I like you a lot. In addition to loving you, I like you a lot. But when you start asking for affection...
Is that what I'm doing?
I like you a little bit less when you seem to be asking for assurances instead of just being in the moment with me.
Wow. It makes me feel so sad to hear you say that.
I'm sorry. I had to say it in order not to think or feel it anymore. I had to say it.
I understand. I like that about you.
Though it may not be considered attractive or socially acceptable or healthy or whatever, normal for a woman to engage sexually but not intimately, if you're asking me whether I have ever been guilty of doing so, the answer, I'm afraid, is yes.
I don't have judgments about that per se.
But you'd rather it weren't the case, per se.
I am insecure enough to want that not to be the case, correct?
I have to pee.
Go pee, by all means.
She does. Then,
Wow, I'm still feeling very sad, very empty.
What can I do for you?
I don't know, maybe a blowjob would help.
Seriously?
No, not seriously. I mean, not this minute. Maybe in a little bit.
Or maybe never.
Never. That's a long time. I didn't mean to suggest that I thought you were somehow defective, or to insinuate that I didn't think you were breastfed as a child.
Don't be a dick.
What?
If you want to talk about whether I was breastfed as a child, then just fucking ask me. Don't just insert some passive-aggressive bullshit in the middle of a phony apology. I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
No, I am most decidedly not hungry.
You said you felt empty. Maybe a little something yummy would make you feel better.
I think you're yummy. I think you have the power to make me feel better. I
think you think too much.
Meaning that I don't feel enough?
Meaning that you don't act enough. And that you're not as present as you might be.
I'm intimidated by your confidence, if that's what you're implying.
It isn't. It wasn't. But I suppose it's good to hear you admit what I've suspected for quite a while.
You really love me?
You're really begging again?
I'm really asking. Okay, I'm fucking asking. I don't need your affection at the moment, Melanie, but I do need to hear you speak the fucking truth. A fair request for me to make.
beat. She suddenly mauls him with kisses.
You're sexy when you're angry.
I want you.
Already?
Already?
You usually need more time to recoup. I'm not complaining.
Actually, I think you are.
Oh, geez, here we go.
You're complaining that I usually take too long to recoup.
I'm delighted you're ready to have sex again. That's a bad thing to say,
That's not what you said.
but it is what I mean, or what I meant. Because now,
I'm so sorry.
and I'm hungry. See, I know what I want.
And I don't?
Not often enough.
I want you. I don't want to have sex constantly, but I'm in this with you for the long haul, assuming that...
Wait, did you just... Are you suggesting that I'm some kind of nymphomaniac? Because first of all, that's really not the case at all. And B, were it the case...
No. Not at all. I'm used to women needing me more than you do.
I see. So, I'm not codependent enough for you?
There are dog women and there are cat women.
What? No bird women? No harpies?
He begins to speak several times, but doesn't. Then finally,
You're a cat woman.
I love cats.
You're part feline. Dogs want lots of attention, lots of engagement, but you cats, they carry secrets. They rub up against you, but then retreat to their own space. It's hard to know quite where you stand with them.
You clearly haven't spent much time around cats. I'm getting something to eat. You want anything?
I'd like to finish this conversation.
I suspected as much, in which case I'm definitely going to need that snack.
Glass of water?
You got it.
she exits. Then after 10 to 20 seconds,
Why the fuck? Just don't be a dick, Marty. Just don't be a dick. Just come out and fucking say it. Be strong. Be a man. Fuck me.
re-entering,
Salami with fennel, my favorite. Here. Gotta pee.
Again?
Yep.
she exits. He drinks the whole glass in one gulp. Off stage,
So my independence and sexual appetite scares you so much that the only way that you can explain it to yourself is that I am part feline and must not have been breastfed as an infant.
I didn't mean to. How long did you breastfeed?
Mel re-enters and gives Marty a seriously look.
More than 5 months?
Oh my God, you are so weird.
7? 7 months.
8.
Really?
No, not really. But you know what? I'll ask my mom the next time we talk, okay?
Why are you with me?
I wonder that every day. Salami,
Sure.
why are you with me?
Pulling her into him.
You're smart. You're sexy. You're strong.
Too strong, apparently.
I wouldn't say too strong.
To what then?
Have you thought more about whether or not you want kids?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Are you? What? Are you? What are you? You drive me crazy. You know that, right?
Then why are you still with me?
I don't know. You're cute. You're sweet sometimes. You're sensitive always. You're occasionally amusing. You're great in bed. I mean, when you're not talking so much, when your mind isn't spinning in circles.
But my mind is what attracted you to me in the first place, right?
Well, I was young. I was young.
You are still young,
Sure, yes.
but I'm not.
Well,
I'm not getting any younger,
I mean, who the fuck is?
and I want a family.
Oh, I see. Here we are.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. You're breaking up with me. That's what this is, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, yes. I think that's what's happening.
Pause. Then suddenly, Mel pushes Marty off the bed.
I can't believe you fucked me and then you made me sit through all that fucking psychoanalytic bullshit because you were too much of a fucking coward to just come out right away and say you wanted to break up. I cannot believe.
I'm so sorry, Mel. I am. I didn't know for sure that I was going to go through with it.
So then, this was premeditated?
Not no. I wanted to see if
I wanted to have kids, if I was breastfed as a child, if I was
I
some
don't
sort of...
think you're in love with me, okay? And I'm not sure you have it in you to fall in love with anyone, actually.
Get the fuck out of my house.
No, I only say that because I wanted you to know that I don't take it, that I try not to take it personally. You're not...
Get dressed and get gone. You are such an ego-fucking maniacal prick. I mean, I could just kill you right now. Breaking up with me in my apartment right after we've had sex, knowing you were going to do so before we had sex. Class act, asshole.
Look, you'd be more incensed if we'd broken up at my place. Enemy territory, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Yeah, this way I get to remember this shit as long as I live here. Just stop talking and start walking, fuckhead.
I'm in love with you, Mel. And I don't think you are in love with me. I might be the one pulling the trigger, but you're the one who's loaded the gun.
Seriously? Seriously?
Dead serious. Lee.
Pause. With a sudden cry of aggression, Mel rushes Marty, tackling him into the floor. Once down, Mel straddles Marty and hits him repeatedly during the following.
Oh, how dare you tell me I'm incapable of loving someone?
No, ow, wait! I think you're capable of loving someone, I really do.
She stops hitting,
I just don't know that you'll ever actually fall in love.
resuming the beating.
You motherfucker!
Wait, Mel, wait, I love you so much, please.
With love like yours, who the fuck needs poison?
Throwing her off.
Damn it, Melanie, I didn't want it to end this way.
But clearly you want it to end.
If there isn't to be an indefinite future for us, then yes, this needs to end.
I used to be so infatuated with you.
But then the spell wore off,
Yes,
because you saw me for who I am.
that's right.
And who am I?
A coward.
Okay, then.
Okay. You're really still in love with me?
More and more every day. That's why
And here I thought maybe you were just keeping me around because...
Keeping you around?
Because I'd been this starry-eyed young thing in college.
You were never starry-eyed.
Just another hot undergrad psych major who made you feel smart and sexy.
You were never just another anything, Mel. Besides, that was years ago. We've changed so much since.
I've changed. That's what you were going to say. We've changed because I've changed. You're right. And I really wasn't just another student there to smile and nod as the whip-smart psych professor went on and on about his theory of this and that.
Are you really asking?
I'm really asking.
Absolutely not.
It just feels like you miss who I used to be. To you. I mean, for you. It just feels like you want the college girl I used to be back. And if that's the case, why not just be with another college girl?
Because I don't want any other college girl.
But apparently you don't want me either.
You don't want me.
But I do want you.
For the time being.
Well, what else is there but now?
Eternity. Or, I don't know, posterity. You don't want to give birth to my children.
I don't want to give birth to anyone's children.
Right.
And you know what? You didn't even make this about your desire for children. You went out of your way to make me feel somehow defective, as if the choice for me as a woman, for any woman, not to have children is somehow unnatural or the result of not being adequately nurtured by my own mother. I adore my mother. Unproblematically. So fuck you for your suggesting otherwise.
Guilty as charged.
And yet, I can see the "and yet" on your face.
Melanie, I have no way of truly knowing whether you'll one day fall in love. I hope that you do. But it seems pretty clear that as I've fallen in love with you, you've fallen out of something. Something is gone.
The college girl is gone. That's what's gone. Okay? Maybe you just can't deal with a woman. Girls can be needy. Women, capital W, women are strong.
I will miss you terribly. I will remember you always. I miss you already.
Goodbye.
She kisses him as though for the first time, heartbroken. Then,
I have to pee.
she exits to the bathroom. He remains still. End scene.
And thank you so much for tuning in to our local playwright staged reading series. This was our last one. If you have any questions or comments regarding any of the plays that we've read over the last 3 segments, please leave them in the comment section on the videos on our YouTube page. And tune in next Thursday for Samuel Beckett's radio play Cascando, and then next Friday for Live from the Imperial Center. Thanks for joining us.